Hello, and welcome back to a very special episode of the Pickle Jar Podcast. So pull up a seat, take a bite, and get ready to dive into that brine for episode 37 of the Pickle Jar Podcast. My name is Ryan Sullivan.
And my name is Keaton Ashby.
And we've got a guest. Everyone say a big hello and a warm welcome to Jamespm.
Jamespm, how y'all doing?
James, Keaton, isn't it wonderful to have James here on the podcast again?
Yes, it is. It's great. I'm excited. It's great to have any guest on the podcast again.
That's true, because it has been quite a while since we've had a guest, especially a guest outside of the family. Because I'm trying to think when the last time we actually had a guest that wasn't one of your sisters. Your sister or your wife, or be that Anthony, because Anthony was less of a guest, more of a mainstay when we had him on. But
that is true.
I think James was the first ever guest that we had on the Pickle Jar Podcast.
Yes, sir.
At that time.
Well, technically there was two, but that was the forbidden episode. So
that is true. I almost completely forgot about that, and I thought that we didn't talk about that anymore, Keaton.
It is called forbidden.
That we don't. Thank you, James. So, James, we have not had you on the podcast in 3 years. Because the first episode that we ever did with you was released August 3rd, 2020. Mm-hmm. First guest we ever had. So I know that at that time you had just released your first album, and you've done a lot since then. So I want you to just go ahead and tell the people a little bit about what's been going on in the wild and wonderful world of Jamespm. The floor is all yours.
Well, definitely a lot of finding my voice, a lot of art, like testing out different genres, different sounds.
Right.
I got to work on like a 3-act album, which is still in its rollout phase. Act 2 is coming out probably this month or next month.
Very nice.
Actually, I just dropped a song today, which today is March 3rd.
Right, and this is like, I think it's March 8th when this is being released. So.
Yeah, at the time of recording, I just dropped a song, which again is March 3rd. Yeah, I mean, I made a comic book.
Yes.
I'm making 2 other comic books for the different acts.
I didn't know that you were planning on making 2 more comic books.
Yes.
Which we'll get into that a little bit more later on into the evening that we have prepared for you guys here. So, James.
Ryan.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead. Shoot.
All right. So, many people who are listening right now, or watching if you're watching on YouTube, the people who are listening and or watching right now may not know who you are, may not know, I mean, let's be real here, our largest audience are going to be people that already know us. But for those rare few that have found this podcast, what I want you to do is I want you to give us like an elevator pitch, meaning tell me in like under a minute, who is Jamespm? Like if you run into, I don't know, some guy from a record company and he's like, hey, who are you? You make music? Tell me all about you. And you only have the length of an elevator ride to tell this guy who you are. Do that for me.
I got you.
Your elevator pitch.
Jamespm, the best way you could describe it is hip-hop's greatest superhero. So what that means is
that's I love it.
There's a lot that goes into it, but basically I'm versatile. I'm all self-produced. I mix my own records, and a lot of it has a comic book style to it. It's very punchy. It's very vibrant. It's very out there. It's in your face. But I'm also very versatile in the fact that I could test out any genre. I've experimented with everything from country to like glitch pop, hyper pop, everything.
I almost completely forgot about the country.
Yes, I've actually made a couple different.
What'd you say, Keaton?
I said I didn't forget about that song.
Hopefully not. It's, but is that would that be your?
That's my elevator.
That's it.
Pitch.
I like it.
Yeah.
So James, now another question for you. How long have you been doing music for? And I like, not like since you've gotten serious about it, but I want to say like,
Just
how
like,
did you get
when was the first
started?
time?
Like, what was the first time that you actually put yourself out there?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny. So I started doing it as a joke. There used to be an app on your phone. It was called Auto Rap, and like
By Smule, right?
By Smule.
It was the same people
Yep.
that do the piano thing or something like that.
Yeah.
I had it on my dad's iPhone 3GS.
Wow.
We had Auto Rap by Smule, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
So what we did was, my brother Alex, my oldest brother, he had a science project where he had to list off the anatomy of a shark or something like that. And we just decided to make a music video for it. So we went on Auto Rap, and we rapped over Panda by Designer, and then we made a music video out of it, and it was awful, but it was really fun.
Wait. James, I'm going to have to stop you right there. You know what's sitting on the table in front of us?
What's that? A jar of pickles. We
jar.
forgot to dive into the brine.
We have dove.
Divin.
Keith, do you have a jar of pickles too?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well,
Unfortunate.
I ate 'em all.
James, the honor is going to be all yours.
Yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
Open that jar and take a sip. Why don't you?
No, I would not take a sip of that thing.
Shut it up, Ryan.
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
All right, we're having the same issue as last time.
Damn. Hold on.
Also, my iPad is glitching out, so we're on this shot for a second.
This thing is difficult, ladies and gentlemen.
See?
All right,
See?
so
See? Remember the last episode where I tried to open it and it wouldn't open and you called me a pansy? It's a hard jar to open.
Well, that makes two pansies.
Hey, it is what it is.
I wonder if I could grab like a butter knife or something and whack it against the side to. You know what?
That's a terrible idea.
The jar, it is
Sealed for your pleasure. Sealed for your pleasure.
interesting. All right.
Yes. All right.
So, I'm
Cool.
sorry that I interrupted you, but that's something very necessary that we have to pretend that we've opened the jar.
You are fine. Yeah, but anyways, we made a music video for it. It was really fun, stupid, but I made my brother like a Christmas present. It was like I made him like a fake album cover, and then he was like, "Yo, we should make this album an actual thing." So that's how I got into actually making music.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, Keaton, I sort of want to get you in on this because Jamespm's first released song, the first song released as Jamespm, actually features Big Fur.
Whoa.
Correct.
Wow.
So I want to ask a little bit about, well,
For the listeners at home,
For the listeners
Keaton is Big Fur.
that yes, correct. Keaton,
Monumental.
what?
That's a monumental discovery right there.
Keaton, I want you to kind of go into, like, from your perspective, the story of making, like, Back to Africa in particular, which is the first song released as Jamespm, because you haven't
it was
set
great.
up.
It was wonderful. It was absolutely brilliant.
It was a ball.
It just, oh man, it was so good. Everything about it was amazing. Just when I first got there at the studio, James started playing it, and oh my gosh! And then T Vinci is also on that song as well, and James all put together. It's just beautiful, and it was just something. It was something great to be a part of. It truly is. It's an amazing song.
It was a really fun song to record.
You know what I think is funny too, is the fact that the last time that we had, well, not the last time, when we had Teaker on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
When we had Teaker on the podcast, this was right before Icicles was going to come out, if I remember correctly, because that was episode 13.
Back to Africa.
Because, Back to Africa. I get some of them confused sometimes. When Back to Africa was supposed to come out. So, I don't know. I just think that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, James, with that, Back to Africa is a very different song compared to, like, what you're doing now.
Oh, yeah.
And I would say your music has evolved a lot in especially the past 3 years.
Oh, 100%. 1,000%.
Yeah. So why don't you tell me a little bit about, well, how do you think you've changed as an artist in that time?
As an artist, I think I just played around with different sounds. From like a technical standpoint, I think my mixes got a lot more cleaner, or a lot cleaner, I should say. And then I started producing my own music as well, like producing the instrumentals.
Right.
Because beforehand, what I would do is I would just go on YouTube, look up a tight beat, and then record over it. Now I'm actually producing all the instruments myself. That's been a huge step for me, because I can actually have an instrumental laid out how I want it instead of like having to settle.
Right.
So I think the vision has always been there, but I don't think I was able to carve it out as well.
Right.
Another thing is, again, like I really just change what style of music I do based on my surroundings. For example, like the song I just dropped, PM Too Crazy, I recorded that up in Asheville, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was actually a freestyle, and I just ended up turning it into a full song. So it really depends on the environment I'm in, but I think it's definitely evolved from that.
Keaton, before I just completely take over as I usually do you have any questions that you want to ask James?
I mean, I don't have any listed in front of me.
Yeah.
This was a go with the flow type ordeal here, and I think it's flowing. So
Okay. Okay. So James, something that I do kind of want to ask you is you said that your music has kind of been influenced by your surroundings and like who's around you, in many different type of ways. So who would you say? Let's say right now.
At this
right
moment
now,
in time?
at this moment in time, it doesn't have to be throughout all time. Musically, who's your biggest inspiration for the type of music that you're producing, like at this moment? Doesn't necessarily have to be like who has influenced you from the beginning, but you know.
I understand. Yeah, there's 3 on the top of my mind that I can think of. Number 1 is an artist named Breakins. He's not a very big artist. He's like gaining some buzz right now, but he is like the only name in an emerging genre called glitchcore, and I've been experimenting with that genre. So he's been a big influence on the type of music I've been making. Also, another big influence right now is an artist I'm working with named Kid Saturn. He goes by Andrew. And I'm actually releasing a joint album with him in the next like month or so. So that's going to be really cool. So I have 2 albums dropping like this month or next month. And then obviously Julian St. Elias, because every time I record something, he's in the studio with me. So I always like having that that second opinion whenever I record something, so I can fine tune it.
That's a good answer. I like it. Now, with that, so since your music has evolved so much in the amount of time, and we've already gone over who right now is influencing you, who is kind of in the beginning?
In the beginning.
In the before times.
The before times.
Thank you for providing the echo there.
You're welcome.
Thank you. in the before times when you were first starting out, who was like some of your biggest influences?
When I was
Ryan.
first starting out, I don't know, man. Probably Eminem, Tupac, Kendrick. Yeah, it's very predictable
Keaton
stuff.
knows.
Yeah,
Ryan, actually, you were one of the influences.
What?
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. But
Here's the thing. We talked about this the last time James was here. If you remember correct, didn't I start off the whole thing,
Yes.
the whole podcast last time, just
Yep.
telling the story of how
Yes.
this song got made?
yes.
Yep.
So,
If you want more context on that, listen back to episode 4 of The Jar.
yeah, go back to episode 4 and listen to the first minute and a half, and you'll be totally fine with that.
Golden. Just golden right there.
Plus, you'll see the progression of me. So
Yeah, that too.
There's a lot of changes.
That too. I was.
Yeah, you changed your hair.
Yep, and that's it.
That's
it.
about
All right,
it. You look
camera,
the same.
let's get that hair. Let's get that hair really quick. Why don't you
Give us a flip.
Put your head on the table. Get shown on camera 3.
What?
It's closer. That's the only reason. Okay, I just wanted to interrupt everything right there.
Why you go tell this man to put his head on the table like that?
Bro, I guess I'm putting my head on the table.
Get off of my show.
Bruh.
The door's over there.
But
Yeah.
man, what were we? So yeah, Kendrick.
Yeah,
Eminem.
it's very predictable. It's like the default. It's like, man, Eminem, Kendrick, Kanye,
That's like ooh.
Cole.
That's like back in the very beginning when Keaton and I started the podcast.
Yeah.
Keaton, do you remember who we said our biggest inspiration was to actually start the podcast?
The H3 podcast.
That is true.
Yep.
We said the H3 podcast. And then like
Which has evolved into something else now. So
yeah. So
don't watch it anymore.
I don't have any inspiration for the podcast, if I'm gonna be honest. I just like doing what
Me
we
too.
do.
You're your own
Yeah.
inspiration.
Yeah.
How
Look
inspiring.
at
Now we are.
Well, actually, I think that's you've actually touched on an interesting point because your inspiration now compared to now who you're inspired by are people who are more on the up and up and people who are like physically around you often is kind of what I'm seeing.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is this is going to sound really weird to anybody that doesn't make music, but anybody that's an artist will understand this. I do not listen to music outside my own music. Like, I just don't. Like,
So do you like when you're driving? Do you only listen to like stuff that you make, or like stuff that?
like 95% of the time, yes. And I'm being dead serious about that because I'm at like
Sorry, move the microphone just a little bit closer.
yeah, I'm at like a frequency right now where literally I'm making a song like every day. So
Really,
yeah, so
That's a lot.
that
Yeah.
is a lot. So that makes me interested. How many songs do you think you have made at this point in your career?
just me songs or like
I would
like songs I've recorded for other people.
I would start off saying how many songs have you made like that are just you?
Like
And
straight up me, no features or
I would say songs that you made considering them to be your song.
okay.
As opposed to and then just a rough estimate. And then like a rough estimate of how many like in totality.
I don't know. Solo songs probably like 1,500, something like that.
That's insane.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
That is insane.
It's just because like I have a really streamlined process on how I make music. It's very simple for me to just like open up a project file on FL Studio and
Right.
then make a beat and then like freestyle over it. You know, it takes me
I
like
see.
15 minutes to make a song. And then like from there, I like pick it apart like, all right, which parts do I like, which parts do I not like? I take out the parts I don't like and then just record new parts. And then usually there's like a whole like week process where I listen to it nonstop in the car where I'm driving places,
Right.
and then I pick out like mixing issues, and then I fine tune it until it's perfect.
That's
Pretty good.
impressive.
Thank you,
That
man.
truly is impressive. I didn't know that you had like that. Well, then if it's 1,500 for that, then what would you say it is like in general, like songs that you've worked on?
Oh, dude, I have no idea, bro. Probably
I would
like
say probably double that, so like 3,000 then maybe.
probably like I don't know, dude. Like, cause I do songs for people like out of state.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. Probably like finished songs or just like songs that started recording.
I don't know. I guess you could say songs that you've just worked on.
That's
you've
probably
had any input on.
yeah. That's probably like 5,000, something like that. I don't know, but finished songs probably like
Lot.
I don't know 3,000, something like that.
So we didn't talk about we didn't talk about any of this beforehand. So this is a lot of this is new information to me. So that makes me really interested. So you just released a song today, March 3rd, right? March 3rd.
Yep, March 3rd.
You released a song today. Not too long ago, you released the first act of this big album project that you've been working on for a very long time.
Correct.
How do you choose what you actually want to keep? And do you have like a certain criteria that everything that you actually release has to meet before you release it?
The criteria is it good?
Okay.
And if it is, I usually release it. Like for the album, I actually got into like a whole like creative bog because I would make songs that are like really good and I'd be like, but does it fit the album? And I'd be like, it doesn't. So like I have a bunch of songs that are like really good, but I just never released them because I wanted to get the rollout of the album, but I just got out of that recently. So that's like PM Too Crazy, the song I just dropped today. It's not part of the album. It's just a song I felt like releasing. So,
That makes sense.
So I'm trying to get more consistent with my releases, which is why I'm releasing a song like next Friday.
And another song next Friday. Oh, okay.
Yes.
What are you releasing next Friday? Because it will be releasing the day after this podcast comes out.
Correct. It's a song called IV,
I've heard this one.
featuring Kid
I've
Saturn.
heard this one.
It kind of has like a break-in type of influence in it. Like you'll definitely hear the influence, but it's a different style. You know what I mean? It's my own spin on it.
I see.
And the beat was like self-produced as well.
Very cool. I'm glad that you're doing that now too, because that's probably also a money saver.
Oh yes, yeah,
Now,
1,000%. Yes.
well, also, you're moving very soon. You're moving very soon. You've lived here your whole life, and you're moving in order to pursue this career more.
Correct.
Do you want to kind of delve into like what it is that you offer, like services that you provide, and like what it is that you're stepping out into?
Yeah.
So like if you wanted to like send this to people and be like, this is what I do.
Yeah. So we're gonna be providing a very inexpensive resource for artists that don't have a large income. It's going to be it's going to be quality mixes for independent artists from independent artists. Okay. So it's a very comfortable vibe where you kind of understand each other, because I feel like there's a disconnect when you go to an actual studio because you have like these bigwig, engineers that have done like massive projects with labels, and it's kind of easy to get drowned out, like overwhelmed by that. So we basically provide like a very inexpensive resource for again, independent artists, because we are independent artists and we understand the struggle. So we're just here to provide that for people.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
So then, let's see. Do you want to tell me a little bit about I know we talked a little bit beforehand about the current album, A Bottle of James.
Yeah.
Because Act 1 already released. If you want
sir.
to delve into, because Act 1, I loved Act 1. Now, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I was heavily involved in the creation of it. Well, would you say I was heavily involved in the...
I think you were there for a lot of the sessions.
I was.
I think, well, you were in, I think, literally every skit.
I think, I want to say creatively wise.
Creatively?
I was in like, it's like the actual, okay. Outside of, people actually performing and creating their art, like, I want to say, like, the structure of how it works.
I think we had several conversations about how fleshed out we wanted the album to be, and you were kind of like helping me run it. You're trying to help me streamline it, and I actually have voice memos on my phone from the nights that we would actually...
Really?
Yeah.
How long ago was that when we first started?
Well, we had several. It's probably like 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Now, all right. I want, for the viewers at home, since you've released the first act of this album, it's being released in 3-act structure. And we can get into a little bit more story elements when we come back from break, which we're going to break in about 5 minutes. But if you were to... How do I put this? How long have you been working on this album? Because I know originally it was and not just how long have you been working on it, but how much time have you actually put into it too? Because I mean, you have been hemming and hawing about this thing for a while. I know, and you're kind of a perfectionist in a good way, and I know at one point this was going to just be one album, and now it's split into 3 parts.
3 acts,
so,
yeah.
How long have we been working on this?
I think, I don't know, dude. I mean, the first song I actually recorded for this album, I recorded in 2019. And at that point...
That's true. It wasn't, the album wasn't an idea yet.
The album wasn't an idea yet, but it was 2019 when I first made, like, the first version of the first song. But there's a lot of negativity in that creation process, just because I feel as though, at least I was in a mindset where everything had to be perfect. Every little thing had to be perfect. And it got to a point where I wasn't releasing at all. There was actually like a point in time, there was probably like a 1.5 year gap where no music was released, no updates were posted, nothing at all.
And in that time, you were still hard at work and doing stuff.
Yes, I was like nonstop grinding for this thing. And I just recently got to a point where I'm like, I've had these songs, I should just release them because I don't want to be pigeonholed into...
And that's a really good idea.
Yeah, creating this album and making it perfect, because what's the point of making this album perfect and then I release it and I haven't promoted anything in like years and nobody hears it because I haven't been promoting. So, yeah, sorry.
I'm going to have to bleep you.
PG-13, my bad. No, but, it's like, if I put out an album and it's perfect, there's no room for growth.
That's true.
So I just want to put this out because I think it's a very creative idea. I also like creating comic books for it because that's another part of the creative process that I'm really intrigued by. But I really just want to put it out so people can hear what I've been working on. And what's cool about it is because it's been in the process for so long, if you listen to like an Act 1, by the time Act 3 comes out, when you listen to the difference in my voice, it's actually crazy.
It is.
It's
I
huge
think
difference.
I think something that's interesting is there's one of the skits. I don't remember if it's in Act 1 or if it's in Act 2. It's a skit that features someone we all know and love by the name of Wesley.
Act 2.
It is in Act 2. Okay. So that skit, we reference the fact that there's a new Matrix movie coming out.
We re-recorded it.
Oh, you did re-record it.
We
okay, well, I know the original.
Yes.
That was the working, like, this is going to be on the album.
Yeah.
There's a new Matrix movie coming out, and it was, like, right when they announced.
Yeah.
Because...
And then the movie came out, and now the line makes no sense, so we had to re-record it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
Keaton, we're about to go to break here in
Yeah.
just a minute. Do you have anything quick that you want to butt in?
I don't think we have time.
Okay. So let's see. We're going to talk more when we come back from our little break that we're about to have. So don't you go anywhere because it's only going to be like 2 seconds for you. It's going to be a couple minutes for us. All right. We will see you guys.
All right.
We'll see you in a second, so it's not like any big deal.
Life is about taking risks, having fun with your friends, spending time with your family. When you're in pain, it can be hard to find the motivation to do anything. That's where a bottle of James comes in. With one pill, you can finally rest easy knowing that you can accomplish anything without a second thought. Ask your doctor if a bottle of James is right for you. Side effects may include nausea, new or worsening depression, hallucinations, general or chronic fatigue, or erectile dysfunction. Make today better by taking the blue pill. Remember, a bottle of James a day will take the pain away.
Hello and welcome back. So we had a last minute switch out. Everyone say hello to Marley.
Hi, I'm Keaton Ashby.
What?
She is Keaton Ashby, I guess.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
Marley is going to be taking over for my thing's not mixing. Okay. Marley's going to be taking over for Keaton for just a couple minutes. I have no idea how this is what Marley has prepared, what she wants to
I
ask.
don't have anything prepared. I'm just here.
Okay. So
Cool.
you have the floor. Go ahead and whenever this decides it wants to cut, we'll go to you.
All right.
Go ahead. You've got questions, right?
But I haven't been filled in on the first 30 minutes of this podcast, so I don't really.
Phenomenal.
I think you need to be asking me the questions. Honestly, you're putting me on the spot here.
But didn't
What?
I'm confused.
I don't have context. What am I?
Okay, so to fill you in, the first 30 minutes of the podcast, we sort of talked about what James's biggest inspirations have been with his music, how his music has changed in the past 3 years since he last did the podcast with us. And let's see, yeah, basically that. James, is there anything else that you want to add to?
No, I'm ready for questions.
Okay. Well, I'll ask the questions then.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So it's been a while since I've been filled in. James, what is your reasoning behind moving to North Carolina? Are you inspired? Do you feel like you can grow there? What is the goal? I want to know.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of moving to North Carolina for one thing. I'm starting up a new business there with a few of my friends that also make music. We were talking a little bit about that in depth earlier. I think it's cool to like go out and explore new places. It's my first time actually having a place to myself, so that's also a little bit of freedom. Also, Asheville is just a beautiful area. There's a huge music scene there, and there's a lot of opportunity there.
Okay, awesome. Now, another question I have. How would you describe your brand as an artist?
The best way I could describe my brand is hip hop's greatest superhero.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I jumped off a comic book.
Also, in the first half, we did talk about like his elevator pitch, like what he tells people, like who he is and stuff like that. So we've got a lot of.
Okay. So the general questions are no. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have you seen Outer Banks?
I have not.
Well, since you're moving to North Carolina, I feel that it's very important that you should watch it. It's very educational.
There you go. I guess I'm watching Outer Banks now.
Yep. I'm a little bit nervous now. I think you should take over again.
You're good.
You know, I actually, Marley, if it helps you at all, I texted Keaton a list of questions because he was very, he was very silent in the first half. So if you look at my text messages from Keaton, there's actually a list of things that you can ask him right there.
The cat's out of the
Man.
bag.
You're really exposing yourself right now.
It's all right. Don't feel bad.
Okay.
I couldn't open the pickle jar.
Yeah, as you can
okay.
see, the jar
Well-
remains unopened. So
Unfazed
Okay.
by
Time to
time.
tap in.
Well, it was so nice talking to you guys, and best of luck in your career out there, James. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited to see what you accomplish. And yeah,
Thank you. Hey, it
Love
was nice
y'all.
seeing you again, Marley.
everyone give a big old hand to Marley. Thank you for. And you know what? That was 5 minutes. So we got.
There you go.
That was great. That was
All right,
great.
welcome
Awesome.
back, Keaton.
And everyone give a
Listen.
nice warm welcome to Keaton Ashby.
Welcome.
Hey, I'm glad to be back. What can I say? I'm glad to be back.
There we go. The man, the myth, the
All right,
legend.
you know. All right. Now, James. We have
Keaton.
not talked about this yet. We promised that we would talk about it earlier in the episode. But what I'm most excited to talk about is, oh my goodness, James. Boy, your hands are beautiful and they're great for drawing. Let's talk about your comic book. Oh my goodness.
All right.
It's absolutely beautiful. I love every bit about it. I think you should full send that.
Thank you, man. I'll, you know what? Next time I go up to Texas, I'm going to get you a copy.
Yeah, man, I really want one.
Dude,
I need
got
it signed though as well.
I gave your sister one. So if she visits, there you go.
Yeah.
Leave me one. I'll and sign it. I'll bring it to
I
Keaton
got
in
you.
May.
I got you.
All
you.
right, cool.
Yeah.
So tell us about the comic book.
So comic book was really fun to make because like the entire vibe of Act 1 is literally like, even if you look at the album cover of it, it's literally formatted like a comic book. It even has like the text like a bottle of James, Act 1.
Ooh, show them your phone case, which is
Oh, yeah.
I'll show it on cam 3 once it loads.
All right.
Or
But basically, this case is a design that I created custom for one of my songs called Good Morning James. It's off Act 1. And it's a little graphic that says, "Hey James," and there's it's a collage of comic books in the back.
We need to zoom up.
I'm trying. My iPad is bugging out right now, so we're just on cam 3
Fail.
for a
We're
second.
having some technical difficulties.
Epicfailvideos.com.
And the page reloaded. Just you guys keep
man.
talking.
It's all right. Yeah, no, but the comic
Wow.
book, was a really fun process. I think the comic book in total probably took me like 2 months to create. It was really fun. I was finding new ways to include everybody because it's really cool. Because I was looking for a way to bring the story of Act 1 to life without making the album full of skits. You know what I mean? I want people to like listen to it and actually have fun listening to the songs.
Show the phone case.
Yeah,
Show the phone case.
here's the phone case.
Put it in front of the jar.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
But
Beautiful.
anyways,
Okay.
Beautiful.
yeah. Basically, yeah. No, it was like, how do I translate the story without making the album a bore to listen to? So I was like, all right, it's already styled like a comic book. Why not just make a comic book? So I just went on YouTube, learned how to draw like anime stills, and
Wait.
And that's how it worked.
Yeah, like
you drew that stuff.
yeah.
Or-
Well. To be fair, most of it was like I took stills from animes that I really liked and traced over it, and then changed it slightly. So most of the line work isn't mine, but like you know what I'm saying. I just
didn't you use some AI in creating it as well?
I did that to create the backgrounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used it's called Astria or something like that. It's some program, but I had the backgrounds AI generated, then I actually just like I wouldn't say hand painted, but over Photoshop I just traced over anime stills, and then just made the character look more like me. So yeah,
That's great. That's absolutely amazing. It looks fantastic, y'all. I mean, really, that's something that I think everybody should be able to check out because it's just, oh man, it's great. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I want more to come from it because it looked so great.
yeah.
Well, also, James, tell people where they can get a copy of the comic book.
So I think the only place, like I hand make them by myself. I don't really have a shop set up to where you can purchase them, but I'm hoping I can maybe create a store online on my website, bottleofjames.com. Yeah, I mean, currently it's really just like, I guess DM me on Instagram or like email me.
Where can they? What is your Instagram? Go ahead and.
My Instagram handle is at jamespm.wave. That's WAV. And that's my Instagram handle, and you just DM me. Also, there's a digital version of the comic book on my page. You'll see it as like one of the bubbles. So I've been like the whole thing's not posted yet, but I've been posting like one page a day.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
It's really cool. Yeah. I'm proud of it. Came out nice.
That's
Well, good. You should be. It looks really good.
Thank you, man. But yeah, I'm working on Act 2 comic book, and that'll be released obviously when Act 2 releases. And then Act 3, I haven't started on that one yet, but I'll start on it once Act 3 is in its rollout stages.
So you're talking a lot about this 3-act album.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, and what else you got to add to that, man?
All right, lit.
That's it. I just noticed. No, I'm kidding.
Yep.
No. So in all seriousness, come on. All right, this iPad is making me very upset right now. But
Yeah,
in all
tell.
seriousness, you've been talking a lot about this 3-act album.
Mm-hmm.
Act 1 is available for everybody's listening pleasure as we speak. And so in that case, what is, because this album is very story driven.
Mm-hmm.
1 is out now, and you use the comic book to actually tell the story of the album.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the story?
It's kind of, well, I mean, I don't want to like spoil it.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I would say more about like, what is Act 1? Like give us a basic rundown.
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the premise of the album going into it was, if I were like a drug or something, what would be my effects and side effects? So, Act 1 is kind of like, when you take the pill, and then you're feeling the effects of it. Act 2 is the withdrawal from it, like when you just get off of it, and then Act 3 is just being clean from it. So within that, there like each act is different, has different musical styles. So for example, Act 1 is very punchy. There's a lot of trap influence in it.
Right.
It's very comic booky, which is what I was going for. Act 2 is more like a late night drive. There's a lot of R&B, soul in it. Mm-hmm. Act 3 is a lot of gospel influence and every song on Act 3 is actually clean, just because it's like, you know, you're clean off a bottle of James. So there's a lot of gospel themes in there, and I don't know, I just like playing with the sound. And so the reason there's 3 acts is because each of the acts have their own audio personality, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It does make sense.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So I know when we like first started talking about the concept behind the album, the Act 1 is very comic booky, and that leads into like the style of how you did, or I guess how we did the lyric video, and all that. So like the lyric video, you can tell them where to find the lyric video.
Yeah, the lyric video is on my YouTube. I'm sure if you just type in Jamespm on YouTube, it'll show up. Yeah.
And then like the colors that you've gone with for Act 1, and also one of the skits on there is straight up just J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, straight up Spider-Man. Yeah.
And also the song Spider-Man Shoes in addition to that.
Which is a banger. I love that song.
It's very good. I like what you've done with Act 1. And I
Thank
can't
you.
wait for Act 2 to release.
You know what's crazy is actually like a lot of people like Act 1. I think Act 1 is like my least favorite act.
Really?
Yeah. Act 1 I think is the weakest link. I
Well, that's good, because I mean, usually when people
that is good news.
Because I mean, I love Act 1, and
yeah, not to say it's not bad. Like,
Right,
it's
right.
bad. It's still good. It's just like my least favorite out of the three.
well, I mean, also like most of the times in like trilogies and stuff, the best is always the first, and then they just
Right.
go downhill from there. So that's good to know. What?
Come on
Spider-Man
now.
2.
In trilogies, really? Have you seen The Phantom Menace, my guy?
Wow.
I'm
to be fair, Attack of the Clones is worse than Phantom Menace.
That's so not true. I can't believe you just said that. Oh my god.
I'm gonna just put that out there.
Also, but
disagree.
The Fellowship of the Ring? Really? Is it better than Return of the
Didn't
King of the
watch
Two
it.
Towers?
Okay.
Come on
Didn't
now.
watch it.
All right, let's
Come
see.
on, man.
Let's think of Ice Age. The first
Man,
Ice Age.
Ice,
The best
there's
Ice
more
Age.
than
You know
3
what?
Ice Ages. It's
The
not a
best-
trilogy.
The best example, Spider-Man 2 is the best out of that trilogy.
There you go. The first Spider-Man. Oh, great movie. But Spider-Man 2? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. That's an easy win right there.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, Dr. Ock in it? Come on.
Yeah, dude.
It's
No Way
great.
Home was really good. But
Oh,
anyways,
man.
Act 3 I think is my favorite, and then Act 2 is
like Revenge of the
tied.
Sith.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we got it.
There you go. But yeah, definitely Act 3 is the best. Dude, if you want, I could play like a snippet of an unreleased song from Act 2 exclusive for this show.
James,
Amazing.
let her rip.
All right. This is a song
You can
called
play
Skywalker.
it right directly into the mic.
I don't got no Rarers, but I'm riding. Send the Yeti, baby girl, cause I'm sliding. Said I don't do it for you, huh? Stop lying.
How long do you want me to play it for?
However long you feel you need to. We'll have to bleep a little bit.
There you go. That's all I'm gonna play for right now.
It's just a little taste.
Yeah,
Just a little driblet from the water skin.
that is a way that you could describe that, I suppose. Yeah, no, that is gonna be the lead single off Act 2. It's called Skywalking. Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
So,
oh, really?
Yes. Featuring an artist named Johnny
Skywalking.
Walker, who just recently got
nice.
signed.
Really?
Yes.
To who?
I can't discuss that right now.
Oh, okay. Unfortunate.
the camera situation is still just a little bit buggy. So
All right, that's all. Well, I'm happy to hear that he got signed.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty nice, man. It's pretty nice.
So, with talk, I thank you for playing that exclusive snippet for all of our
course.
listeners, James. I'm sure that they'll very much so appreciate that. But here's we've talked the album to I think a good point to get people interested, get people ready to sort
And we
of
talked
like
about the comic books.
yeah.
There you go.
So, I want to ask you a little bit about some other things that I'd like to get into, which is going to be if someone came up to you right now and they were just starting out, like they had never done music before, what sort of advice would you give to someone in that situation where they don't know how to start out properly, and things that you wish that you would have known in the beginning?
In terms of creating music, YouTube is your best friend. Literally everything that I have learned off YouTube videos. You just got to make sure you're looking at the right ones, which you'll be able to tell. But in terms of actually like promoting and marketing, I think a lot of artists get really bogged up in trying to do like music videos or like I don't know. People try to do a lot of music videos. They pay for like Instagram ads and stuff like that, and it's just not something you should waste your time on, because short form media is really where you want to hit that from, because it's low effort. You get a lot of exposure because the algorithms like TikTok and Instagram Reels are literally meant to distribute it to like people who have never seen you before, as opposed to like an Instagram ad, which is like targeting people that have seen your stuff before, is in your demographic. So
Absolutely.
So like really focusing on short form content. I think on the musical side, I think is very it's worth it to figure out the rules, like for example how like big artists structure songs, how to make a pop hit structure. And then once you get the basics down, then you learn how to break it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the rules are only there to get you started. And anything outside of that is being too rigid on rules is limiting.
Yes.
But if you don't learn what the rules are, you can't understand why you're actually breaking them.
Another thing is like don't get bogged down in like little details. If it sounds good, just release it. Honestly, like because you're gonna improve anyways. Like for example, like for me, it's very difficult to find covers for singles and stuff. And then at a certain point, I was just like, people are gonna listen to it anyways. I'm just gonna release it. It's not fun obsessing over it. Like literally, PM 2 Crazy, which is the song I just dropped today, is literally just a picture from my camera roll.
Really?
Yeah, it's literally just a random picture.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's like, just do it. Stop procrastinating. Just do it.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. It sounds awfully familiar, Ryan.
Hey, you know
Sounds
what?
awfully familiar.
You know what? I don't appreciate your this line of questioning from you, Keaton.
Whatever, man. 8-month hiatus again.
Hey, I think it was only 7. I think it was only 7. And you know what? We said on the last podcast that
we weren't going to do it again.
Yeah.
We did it again.
Well, no. We said on the last podcast that we've been doing this for 3 years. No, we're starting our 4th year. This is the 4th year in a row we've done a significant hiatus. And this time, trying our best.
Hey, I mean, look, we already got 3 episodes, and
yeah,
we're on a good roll. We
weeks.
got reels coming out. We got
there we go.
Little snippets of funds over the years coming out.
It's happening. It's absolutely happening. But so other than that, so James, who do you think is your dream person to have on a song?
Ooh,
like dream feature
for pretty good.
That's tough.
If anybody, you know what? First do anybody living, and then do anybody at all.
Dang, 3 dream features.
Okay, 3 dream features.
No particular order, but J. Cole, Lil Wayne, Kendrick. I think Lil Wayne is probably the top of that list.
Really?
Either that or J. Cole.
Cassie would love that.
Dude, Lil Wayne, I've never heard a bad Lil Wayne feature. I've also never heard a bad J. Cole feature. Actually, I'm going to take Kendrick off that list. I would
Really?
Yeah. I
You
think
didn't wake up for the money?
I'd probably put Kanye on there. Not to feature, but just to make the instrumental. To create the instrumental. I don't want him featured because I feel like
You don't want that man opening his mouth.
At that point, I'm just asking to be canceled.
Yeah.
But if he produced my
that's a risky
instrumentals,
one.
I'd be fine, bro.
That's great.
Like, listen to Donda, bro. Just listen to the instrumentals on Donda and tell me that man does not make amazing instrumentals.
It is true. It is true.
Yeah.
Donda is a very solid album, no matter.
I think that was a really good question, Ryan.
Thank you.
Because, okay, give me your top 3 on who you would want on the podcast.
Oh, top 3 people I'd want on the podcast. Well, I think Dream overall. Oh, that's such a good question. Well, do you have anybody, Keaton, who you immediately think of?
I really have to think deep about it because I don't know.
Joe Rogan.
I would say,
No.
you know what?
No. Come on,
Mike
man.
Tyson.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say I would absolutely love to have Jordan Peterson on the podcast.
Bruh.
I know, but I would love to have Jordan. I'm not even on the podcast. I just love to talk to him. I'd love to pick his brain. It'd be interesting. But
I
Dog
think
the
Mike.
Bounty Hunter.
I think Mike Tyson would be fun. Just have Mike Tyson on the podcast, like.
Actually, yeah.
My name Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
I can't open the door. Can you open the door
now,
for
Ryan,
me?
What?
Ryan, that's a very good question that you have for me.
Well, you see the reason I can't do
Bruh.
good Mike Tyson. That I thought I would do a lot
Hey,
better than that.
This Mike
Nah.
Tyson.
All right.
All right, that's
Well,
about all the time we have for today.
All right, sounds good.
No, because
That's a deep question, my guy.
It is-
You just
it
have
is
to-
difficult.
You just have
I
to give
do have
one.
to.
You don't have to give 3. You can just give one.
I'll have to
Oh my
think about
gosh.
it. No, I really have to think
You
about it.
are you are left in utter awe right now.
I am because I'm starting to think, who would I actually want on the podcast for the podcast, as opposed to just getting somebody on there who would be like, oh, that'd be really good to get this person on here as a guest. We'd get a lot of views. Like, I don't
It's
want.
not about that. It's about
that's not what it's about. Like, who
having a discussion with
Yeah.
someone. It's a loaded question, I know, but
What?
I gotta head out soon.
Okay, that's fine. We're done in 4 minutes.
Okay.
We got 4 minutes left, so that's totally fine.
Bet.
we're getting our wrapping ups right now.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes.
Okay.
Actually, you know what, James? Since we are getting ready to, well, Keaton, you didn't say who.
Oh, I don't know. So
You gave me all this.
I did.
Okay,
I'm gonna try.
Okay, he's gonna try and open the jar one more time.
Oh my God, bro.
He's go.
Oh!
Show the people. Show the people.
Did you spill any?
He
No
did not.
spillage.
He redeemed himself too, because remember the first podcast, you
Yes.
spilled it on yourself.
Oh, I remember. I've been waiting 3 years for this moment, and now the jar has been opened with no spillage.
No spillage.
No spillage.
He's won.
Okay.
He's
Ja-
officially
James, sit
won.
back down. Okay, so James, now that do you have anything else that you really just need to tell the people who are listening?
Maybe where to find your music.
Well,
all your
we're not
follows.
we're not quite there yet. That'll be in like 2 minutes. But
I was gonna
is
say
there
we got-
anything?
Yeah. Live life. Like, stop thinking about what other people think about you. I think if you're living based off the opinions of other people, you are not living. You are conforming. And that's all I had to say.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's pretty good.
I like it. I like it.
Thank you, sir.
I like it a lot.
So
I like it a lot.
Should we call it here? I think we've gotten.
I think we
There
just
you go.
we just need to wrap it up.
Well,
man.
thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, man.
James, tell everybody where they can listen to your music, where to follow you, all those sorts of things.
All right, yeah, I would say start by following me on Instagram if you want to be posted on updates. If you're just getting into my music, on my Instagram page, there's a guide that takes you into a chronological order through my discography. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, YouTube, everything. Music videos are on YouTube. And yeah, I'm on TikTok.
Great.
What's your TikTok?
I think it's just Jamespm. Let me check though.
Okay, you go ahead and check that out. Keaton,
Yes.
where?
Everywhere. Anywhere you can get that crap, it's there. Trust me. We're like bad dope waiting for you. All right.
What?
Cool.
What?
We're like what waiting for you?
We're like bad dope waiting for you. Listen, the Pickle Jar Podcast is one hot shot away. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you, Keaton.
Yes.
Welcome.
By the way, my TikTok handle is at JamesPMX.
Okay, very good.
There you go.
Sounds good.
So
I
y'all,
love
all right, I'm giving up. Y'all, listen to the Pickle Jar Podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Google Podcasts, literally anywhere that you get your podcast. Watch us on YouTube. If you're not watching this on YouTube, what are you doing? Follow us on Instagram at the Pickle Jar Pod. You can also find us on Facebook at the Pickle Jar Pod. You could also find us on Twitter at the Pickle Jar Pod, but I lost the sign-in information, so you ain't going to see nothing. What?
I feel that. Bro.
Yeah.
On YouTube, I lost that.
Nobody uses Twitter. Like,
because it's a terrible thing.
It just, I don't care for it.
I use Twitter for a lot of things.
Alrighty.
All right. So with that, I have been Ryan Sullivan.
I have been Keaton Ashby.
And I have been Jamespm.
Thank you so much for listening. Join us next week for another episode of Bite Sized. Yeah, I just said next week. We're actually getting a schedule, so it's going to be great.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
There you go.
All right. Woo! Thank you for listening.
Thank you for diving into the
bye.
Yeah.